Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Atlanta Falcons Today. We're jumping the latest Falcons news and rumors here to start a Monday as we are basically 2 weeks away from training camp starting and less than, well, I think right at 50 days until we actually are going ahead and getting NFL football, maybe 50, 55. Math is difficult on a Monday. Just know the NFL is starting to ramp up. And with that, we start with our first story, which I think a lot of you guys are going to enjoy because it's a puff piece on a rookie. Now, when I say puff piece, I mean that we're hearing some good things about rookie linebacker Troy Andersen. And whether it's true or not, as we'll see, is up in the air. We have no idea how good any of the rookies are going to be in the 2022 draft class. That's why they are rookies. They are an unknown commodity of the Atlanta Falcons. However, it's always good to hear that they are looking decent in mini camps and OTAs because that might mean they could start sooner rather than later. With the roster the Falcons have, these rookies need to hopefully start sooner rather than later. So, let's jump right in. There is a report on Troy Andersen saying that he has been turning heads during OTAs. We heard this a couple of weeks ago, really like a month ago, and we're hearing it yet again. He really has a decent shot to start at the linebacker position, which is very rare for a rookie linebacker to go ahead and do, unless you're like, first round draft pick. Most of the time, you got to kind of wait a little bit to get inserted slowly into the lineup because inside linebacker is a very difficult position to play in the National Football League. You got to know what's going on, right? I mean, you got to do a lot of stuff as an inside linebacker, not as easy as being a pass rusher where your job is to spin, move around left tackles and sack a quarterback, right? Now, with the linebacker group, I think being one of the more intriguing groups, maybe one of the better groups on this defense, he still has an uphill battle. It's not a guarantee he's going to start, but everything that we are hearing, including, as we'll see from the inside linebacker coach Frank Bush, is that Andersen is way ahead of where he technically should be at this point in the offseason. So, this story, of course, is centered around Falcons linebacker coach, or inside linebacker coach, Frank Bush, who was asked about Troy Andersen and gave this quote, throw it up on your screen, quote, "We're looking to put the best guys on the field. If he's one of the best guys in our room, he'll be out there, but it's a process. We don't want to give him the MVP trophy, and we don't want to discard him just yet. It's a process. I like where he is in the process. He's a humble kid, extremely intelligent. He'll get used to our system. We just have to stick with the process." Extremely intelligent, humble kid, seeming like he's in the right mindset and doing the right things as a young linebacker. But as I mentioned, it doesn't guarantee he's going to go ahead and start. This is a very, we're not going to say stacked linebacker group because we're going to acknowledge the fact Falcons' overall roster is not that great, but it at least has a lot of intriguing names you see on your screen right now. Rashawn Evans, what happens to Deion Jones, Troy Andersen, Michael Walker. I mean, they have a lot of guys who are vying for very few positions because obviously base defenses, how many linebackers they're going to play, you get into nickel, you get into dime, less linebackers on the football field, and more slot guys, more cornerback guys. But I think there is a definite chance that Andersen has a real shot to play week one. And I think training camp is where he's going to start to shine, start to really show what he's able to do, and that'll transition into obviously preseason games and then week one. Deion Jones remains kind of the wild card on this team. We talked about him ad nauseum this offseason. Will he stay? Will he go? If he stays, I think that means that Andersen is probably not ready and that Jones is a little bit more ready as a linebacker, obviously being a veteran than Andersen. But if they're willing to let go of Deion Jones, which I think they are, I'd be shocked if they keep him throughout training camp, especially with the injury and the contract stuff and the age issues and blah, blah, blah about Deion Jones that, again, we've talked about. If he's gone, then Andersen is in the catbird seat to possibly be a starter as a rookie in what could be a much improved Dean Pease's defense. Okay, add, rate, and comment down below. Will Troy Andersen start week one? Type S down below for start or type B down below for bench. He'll be a starter eventually this year. I mean, it's kind of like Desmond Ridder. You think he's eventually going to get in there, but week one is the question mark. Type S down below for starter, type B down below for bench. All right, let's move over to, a story that doesn't matter, but a story that I think you want to hear, right? And it's the offseason, so we do stories like this. Not groundbreaking news, right? They didn't trade for somebody, but Keyshawn Johnson, of course, former wide receiver and current, I think he does an ESPN morning show. He was talking about Atlanta, essentially called out the Falcons organization for the Matt Ryan trade. And while we're over the Matt Ryan trade and we've moved on here on the channel, you guys as fans have moved on, it's always interesting to hear people kind of pop back in there and clap back about the Atlanta Falcons trading away Matt Ryan, so I thought I'd share it with you guys here on a Monday. We'll throw it up on your screen. Quote, "It's not a mistake at all. Falcons did a wonderful thing by allowing Matt Ryan to leave and go to a team that can compete for a championship. He deserved better, and they knew that. That's why they're giving him better. The Atlanta Falcons aren't ready to compete right now, and Ryan doesn't have time. He can't sit around and wait 3 or 4 years. Time's running out on Matty Ice," end quote. And so you see him kind of not dog the Falcons as an organization and say they're a terrible organization. He's saying the roster's not ready. It's not good, which we've talked about here on the channel. But he is saying they did a very, very good thing in letting Matt Ryan leave, and I 100% agree. I think Keyshawn's 100% right on this. If you're still on the fence about trading away Matt Ryan, I know some Falcon fans are. I don't know what to tell you, and Keyshawn hits it on the head. Matt Ryan's running out of time. He goes from a non-championship contending team to a possible championship contending team with the Indianapolis Colts. What would Matt Ryan have done on this roster this year? Like, seriously, with the current roster as it is, the most games they could have won is 9. Like, the absolute ceiling, like, everybody balls out of their mind, is 9 wins. Bottom, probably 6 or 7, right, with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan would elevate them to a couple more wins than where they could be at this year, but, you know, his age is a factor. People talk about the arm strength, which I don't see as being an issue. It's the mobility, and he was never a mobile quarterback, but way less so than he is right now. And behind the offensive line, that should be improved, but it continued to not be that great, the sacks would have continued to pile up. The mobility of Marcus Mariota is going to be a godsend for the Atlanta Falcons this year. I think he's going to break away from a lot of would have been sacks, a lot of, you know, tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and get the ball down the football field. Now, does that mean he's going to be better than Matt Ryan would have been? I don't know. I mean, I kind of hope that he is, just so you can go ahead and win some more games this year than expected, but letting go of Matt Ryan, getting the draft stock that you got from him, getting rid of that contract eventually, because, you know, in the future, you're going to have a lot of relief from the contract, not this year, but in the future, was the right move overall. And it's fine for Keyshawn to say that Atlanta is not ready to compete right now. They're not. But I've still said before, this roster, if it does everything we hope it can do, might be in a little better spot than people are realizing, and maybe they compete more than people were expecting. But still, getting rid of Matt Ryan was 100% the right move, and Keyshawn Johnson hits the nail on the head. Now, we try to hit the nail on the head here every single week on the channel. We try to give you guys the latest and greatest Falcons news and rumors as often as we can. I mean, we try to get multiple videos out each week whenever stuff is happening. And sometimes, like this week, you know, it's a couple weeks before training camp, not a lot going on, and so we'll dive into some roster battles, some pre-camp moves coming up in a later video this week. But let me tell you, you should be subscribed right now, because we are working hard to get ready for training camp. When training camp starts, it is going to be an absolute fire hose of Falcon news and rumors. I mean, so much stuff is going to be coming out of training camp that we are going to sift through it all and give you guys a short, condensed 10-minute video that explains what's going on. That way you don't have to read 8,000 blog posts and be on Twitter 24/7. Subscribe here, hit the notification bell, and wait for our videos to drop, giving you guys the latest Falcons news and rumors. Trust me, hit that red subscribe button. You will not be disappointed. What it's disappointing is a recent SI.com article saying the Falcons should re-sign Julio Jones, which I almost didn't want to put this in the show today, because it's like, guys, they're not going to re-sign Julio Jones. It's that simple. I mean, I don't know why this is even a conversation, but it's just funny to watch the big media ticket outlets, the big media sites, you know, the ESPNs of the world, the SI.coms of the world, and these writers who aren't as in tune with organizations or follow teams as closely as I would argue that like we do here, or certainly Falcon blog websites do. And so they try to, you know, create some buzz, and, you know, who should the Falcons trade for? Who should they sign? Oh, Julio Jones. And then you actually read the article and you say, no, it's not going to happen. So we'll have a little fun with this. We'll throw it up on your screen. Here's SI.com on Jones. Quote, topping the list for potential reunion is opportunity. In Atlanta, Jones would be able to slide into the receiver room without an established top target. The rookie first-round Drake London and recently acquired third-year pro Bryan Edwards will be given a chance to prove they can fill the role. Another element of opportunity for Jones is the chance to mentor London, Edwards, and the rest of Atlanta's young receivers. Towards the end of Jones' injury-riddled final season with the Falcons, five-time All-Star or All-Pro adopted something of a coaching role in a receiver's room that included Zacchaeus and Calvin Ridley, end quote. So before I give you my take on this, which you guys know what I'm going to say, should the Falcons sign Julio Jones? Think they should? Type Y down below for yes. Think they should not? Go ahead and type N down below for no. I'm out. I'm out on this. There's just no way that I would do this. I would be typing N right now. I think people need to calm down when we talk about the receiving core. And I poo-pooed it in the past. I know it's not great. It's not going to be fantastic. Won't be top 5 in the league this year. But let's just give this receiving core a chance. Why not? Why not give them a chance? Why not give Drake London a chance to showcase that he was, you know, worthy of the 8th overall draft pick as a rookie? Why not see what Bryan Edwards in year 3 is able to do? Alameda Zacchaeus with a brand new contract, you know, potentially popping off this season. You know, one of the other guys behind him, whether it's Geronimo Allison, right, or Auden Tate, or somebody like that. Why not give them a chance? You think Julio Jones could roll into the Falcons wide receiver room and actually improve it? Sure, the coaching aspect is there, but he still is going to take snaps from the young receivers. He's still going to take plays and catches from these young receivers. And at the age that he is and the injury history that he has, how many games does he guarantee you he's actually going to be able to play? It just doesn't make sense. And plus, let's just be real, he wanted out of Atlanta, and he said that to Shannon Sharpe in that, you know, infamous, undisputed phone call that Shannon Sharpe called Julio Jones, and, you know, Julio, you want out there? He said, I'm gone, right? So I don't think he needs to come back, and I think that right now, you need to just accept the fact the Falcons are in a rebuilding stage, and accept the fact they're trying to figure out their wide receiver core, and we'll take this year to gauge who you have on the roster, and if they need to address the receiver in the offseason next year when they have more cap space, or when they have other draft picks, they can, but trying to, patch a hole with an already injured Julio Jones or an often injured Julio Jones, to me, makes absolutely no sense. So I'm out on this, but you guys already knew that, right? It's just, I gotta pop these stories pop up with SI.com, and it's like, all right, here we go. And so there is your breakdown. All right, we'll finish on this. Type squad down below if you guys are still watching. You guys are part of the Falcons a squad here down below. Give me that comment. That way I know you guys are real fans. I know you guys are pumped to watch these videos. If you're still watching till the very end, I appreciate that. Okay, all time we have today on our Atlanta Falcons news and rumor video. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed. Mailbag video happening later on this week, hopefully. So hashtag Falcons in the comments section. Ask any sort of mailbag related question, and it can be pulled for a possible answer in a future video. Make sure you guys are subscribers, though, because we only pull subscriber mailbag questions. Again, for Atlanta Falcons today, Thomas Mott signing off. For the rest of your day.